You may remember a couple of months ago in which this particular clip was shared on X and got lambasted for it. Now, this particular clip is from the anime Josee the Tiger and the Fish, a 2020 film in which a guy falls in love with a disabled female Josee. Now, although the particular person who posted the original tweet is no longer active on X, somebody else had decided to copy that particular tweet. Now, we're not going to play the entirety of the clip because of copyright issues, and I'm not sure if the YouTube gods are going to say that the music is copyrighted as well. However, this is the carbon copy that this user made of the original tweet, saying, quote, "Men only want one thing and it's absolutely disgusting," and then meanwhile, and then shows the clip. Now, you may notice that there is community notes on that, and I will show that to you here, saying even though this is an opinion based on an anime, I think it's important to add some context here. Women with disabilities are at high risk of being sexually abused and mistreated by their partners. Now, Shuon Head created an excellent video about the original controversy surrounding the people who were mad about the post existing, and if you want some full context of that, I implore that you watch that particular video. It is a good summarization about what took place there. However, now this one person is also getting some pushback from someone who seemed to be the original person behind the original outrage, saying, quote, "This exact same video and caption went viral almost exactly 5 months ago, and I already gave my 2 cents. People, please stop engaging with this slop." However, the one that has been highlighted for this particular video is this one from Amy, saying, quote, "Cis men like this want a disabled girlfriend like this so they can live out their crazy superior provider fantasy. If you want that fantasy, go get a cat, not a whole other human being you know you have power over." This person goes on to say, "By the way, I don't want any turf in here saying some BS. I'm just talking about who's most likely to do it. Cis women can do awful stuff, and they have done. Abusing someone disabled isn't limited to gender. Men can just access ways to do it easier because of the patriarchy. Also, I made this tweet because this is an actual thing that they are into, by the way. Here's a game a bunch of men made where you can date girls and the charming point is their disability. Putting into a video about the time 4chan made an anime dating sim. That's 4chan for you." And then Amy decides to mute the tweet. And there are several people who are actually calling this person out on it, including this one saying, quote, "I think it's less about having a disabled girlfriend and more about making somebody you love happy. Not everything has to be so negative all the time." Also saying cis men is crazy because literally any gender or sex is capable of this god complex BS. And they do respond saying, "I know that I'm saying they're more likely to do it. A lot of people agree with this idea because we've seen how cis men can be. Anyone of any gender can be abusive, but this fantasy of a disabled girl instead of seeing her as just a girl feels really weird." Now, for the record, I do not mean to pick on this particular person. There's obviously others that are crying foul about this yet again. However, this is the one that I saw first and the one that seems to be engaging the most of this particular topic. Okay, first things first, the original outrage was absolutely, utterly ridiculous. Let's get that out of the way first. And this latest run of this coming up yet again and throwing salt over the old wounds is just as ridiculous. First of all, saying that cis men, and more, I hate that term anymore, would only be interested in that, and putting everybody like that into a box is pathetic. And no matter how many times they try to say that it's not what they say it is clearly a form of misandry trying to disguise itself as something that it's not. There are several quote-unquote cis men who are great people and do treat women with respect. If you want some examples of that, go look at who is defending Emu right now after her scuffle at TwitchCon. That was pathetic as well, and she deserves so much praise for handling it the way she is and being strong and belligerent, if that's the right word for it. I apologize if that is the wrong word. I'm trying to say that she is ready, willing, and able to do the right thing and go through the right channels and do the right things in order to make sure the people who need to be held accountable on that exchange in that situation and incident are held accountable. You go look at the people who are defending her and are saying the same things, that she has every right to take action, and shame on the person who did what they did to her, and shame on Twitch for doing what they're doing to her at the aftermath and the fallout. Those are the same people who people are claiming are the misogynists who are trying to push women out of gaming. So there are really good men out there. You just have to find them. And yeah, they do from time to time get a little bit rowdy when they're with their friends and all that, but they know how to behave in front of other people. And when you're with friends, sometimes you let your guard down a little bit because you can trust those people to know that you are just shooting you know what. They don't think that you really want to go assault anybody or want to treat anybody with any less respect than they are expected to be treated with. And to the point that this is some sort of fantasy and some sort of fetish. I am not aware of this whole fetish. I'm not aware of this. And if it does exist, and I'm just saying if it does because I don't know if it does or not. I'm assuming somewhere in the vast reaches of society, everybody has a vice and everything can be turned into a vice. I guess this is a vice in of itself. It is really highly unlikely that you're going to find at random somebody who is into taking advantage of a disabled person. I mean, I don't know this particular person if they experienced that sort of thing, but on my time on this earth, and I'm have a lot of years on this earth, I have never seen anybody who would be that desperate, man or woman. And yes, they are right that women are capable and are able to abuse men as well, and we've seen that happen both in more personal circles and in the public sphere. But I've yet to see someone who would be that desperate that they would take advantage of someone who would not be able to defend themselves, some sort of monster or something like that. People who would take that much advantage of somebody is probably somebody who is in jail or worse at this point in time. That's like somebody who abuses kids. I would think that would be the most abhorrent thing, and 9 out of 10 people would not want to do that. And the 10th person is probably a monster already before he even tries to do that, or she even tries to get into that. And as somebody who has had to take care of a disabled person, I've had to do that before, I still have to do that. It is a lot of work, and work that is because they can't do certain things on their own, which we take for granted. Like we get up on our own 2 feet and use the bathroom and get ourselves something to eat or a snack or something like that. And you take that much for granted, and then when you suddenly don't have those capabilities anymore for whatever reason, either you lose an arm or a leg, or you go through a medical condition in which you lose function of some limb or some capability with your eyes or ears or something like that, you're dealing with somebody who not only can't use their body the way they used to, but they are so frustrated about not being able to use those limbs the way they used to that you have to be ready for some heightened frustration at times. And it's no fault of their own, it's no fault of your own. But the other thing about it is that the people who take care of these people do so not just because, hey, they have to, but because they want to. Because they feel as though they are protectors. And that is the real lesson learned from a movie like this. And I haven't seen the movie yet. This makes me want to see the movie. But that is with men and women too, is that they feel as though they want to care for this person. They want to feel for this person. They want to take care of the person. Because to them, that other person is their whole world, and they would do anything for them, and they would be devastated if something did happen to them. They're trying to protect them, and they want to protect them because of the emotion of love, and not because, oh, they want to have some power fantasy. Maybe the fantasy is they want to feel like they are needed, that they are wanted, and that is the best feeling in the world if there is somebody like that depends on you to make their lives a little bit better. And yes, it is a lot of work, but sometimes that work is worth it. And the feeling you get when you find out that you made that person's life a little bit better and a little bit easier, whether you are a husband, a wife, or caretaker, or some other relative, or somebody who works in that field, that is a huge undertaking you're putting on to yourself that you're choosing to do because you care for that person. It is not hard to figure that out. And there's people, the few that would be out there that would take advantage of something like that, are absolutely abhorrent. They shouldn't be mentioned in society. but I would like to think they're few and far between. So few and far between that maybe we shouldn't give them the attention. But at the same time, I don't think that means you should put everybody into the same box, and you shouldn't lambaste a person or saying that, hey, this is how men really want to be looked up to as somebody who is a caring, kind individual who actually cares that somebody is happy to be with them and would depend on them, because the feeling would be mutual. I don't understand the outrage over this. I don't understand why this had to be throwing salt over an old wound again. I don't understand that, but that's my take. What are yours? Please leave a comment down below. Please subscribe for more, and as always, take care of yourself and each other, and as always, to be continued.